Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday call. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Pacific, we're here to deliver value. My name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. I want to remind everybody that this call is recorded. It will be posted in our YouTube channel within hours of today's call. Today, we have a special guest, Mr. Rick Scherer. What's up, Rick?
What's up, pal? Thanks for having me.
Good, yeah, it's good to have you, man. You were always one of my favorite interviews. I have interviewed Rick numerous times. The last time we did an interview was all about realtor mastermind events.
Yeah.
Incredible call, by the way, brother. And anybody that did not watch that, who lives off of referrals from realtors, I'd say it's an absolute must. You know, everybody should be doing realtor masterminds, in my opinion. I did want to shine on a couple lights before I get into the official interview with Rick. I wanted to let you know that this morning, a little before 7, I posted and published a new LinkedIn article called 5 Strategies to Maximize Your Realtor Referrals. I push it onto Facebook, so it's on LinkedIn, it's on Facebook. It's a pretty, it's not a 5-minute read. I mean, it's every bit of 13 minutes, but I would tell you, I interview someone every single week. So 52 weeks a year, I've done it for 8 years, do the math, hundreds of interviews, and it's a special interview. Not only is it special because it's just one of the most successful teams in America, but there's scripts, there's strategies. And I would say it's also a really special and important call because as we close out 2017, you need to close strong. And let's face it, January and February are typically not record-breaking months. And a lot of what we talked about in this call will help you close the year strong, prepare to kill it by upgrading your scripts and your systems. So I really wrote this because I think it's an important topic. I thought it was an important call, and I wanted to take good notes because I have noticed that the best loan officers, they take good notes, and they take what they hear, and they put it into action. And so, again, I can't help you put it in action. You need to put it in action. But I can help you take good notes. I can help you write out the scripts. And so I did that for you, myself and our team. So make sure you check this out. If you get value from it, like it, and please share it with anyone that you care about who's in the mortgage business. So I wanted to shine a light on that. Also, Robert Stover, who has been one of my mentors and consultants for over almost 20 years, I've paid Robert hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's been on the Mortgage Coach calls a lot lately. The Friday calls, I think I had him as a guest on Tuesday a while back. But this Friday, we talked about his referral boot camp. And it's limited to less, I think, 12 people. And I think we've already got 9 who have signed up. So there's a couple more openings to join Robert Stover's referral boot camp. He's going to be helping you build stories that generate referrals and help you story sell, so that rather than just explaining strategies, hey, I got a great piece of technology, I've got a great system, you wrap stories around your systems, around your strategies, and they're more compelling. So check out his referral bootcamp. If you want to hear more about it, it's recorded in this Friday's mastermind call, and the first 15 minutes are Robert talking about his referral bootcamp. So I wanted to shine a light on that. So with that said, today the guest is Rick Scherer. Put on your calendar next week, Tuesday at this time, I'm going to have 5 amazing Mortgage Coach professionals. By the way, Rick, we're getting some feedback on your end. Marcy, is that Rick? How's that feedback? Marcy, can you hear me? Just making sure that everybody can hear me. So next Tuesday, put on your calendar that we're going to have 5 amazing Mortgage Coach professionals that do insane amounts of volume. These are, a couple of them are the top 100 loan officers in America. All of them are top 1%, and they're going to show you how they create a total cost analysis in 5 minutes or less. So have that on your calendar. And my last update before we get into the big interview is this week on Friday, Kristen Messerly was giving a realtor lunch and learn presentation. And she was, both educating realtors how to connect with millennials, but using a mobile app within the sales process. So this is the Mortgage Coach playbook. This is what we want to teach you how to do. I would love to know who is doing lunch and learns or Realtors Masterminds. So if you are doing this and you're using Mortgage Coach in that process, one, send me pictures, and two, send me an email, dave@mortgagecoach.com. I'm trying to build more best practices around how this is happening out there in the wild. So with that said, Rick, I'm going to bring you on stage. I'm going to actually quit sharing my screen but keep my video camera on. And, let's talk about how mortgage professionals can make more money in less time and have a more successful, last 2 months of the year and blast off 2018. Sound good, brother?
Well, man, yeah, Dave, listen, I want to first acknowledge you, man. I don't know anybody else in our industry who has been so dedicated to our business and our growth. The fact that you've been doing this for how long, 52 weeks a year, and the content that you are able to extract out of these human beings that are absolutely crushing it, man, is second to none. I don't know who else in our industry does what you do, and man, I just got to acknowledge you for being the guy and doing this. Every time I have a conversation with you, online, offline, dude, I just walk away from it amazed. So again, I just want to acknowledge you, man. I know that all the people on this call are doing the same thing. They're all tapped in and listening to you and what you bring to the table, man. So thanks very much. Kudos.
Thank you, Rick. It's an honor to serve, man. So why don't you start with telling everybody a little bit about your practice, what market you're in, and then let's talk about what systems you've implemented. And let's talk about what you said no to, what you're not doing so that you can really execute well on your key focus.
Yeah, great. When we talked on the phone talking about topics and stuff, one of the things you said is what have you done over the last couple of the end of the last year in order to ramp up and have a really successful 2017. And so it brought me back to you can't see it here, but right on the board on the wall here is a whiteboard, idea pane. I literally did a whole board in my office of a whiteboard, and I got really clear on what I was going to do in 2017, and more importantly, what I wasn't going to do. So in a couple of minutes here, we'll share and get into that. But as far as my market goes, I'm in the Boston, Mass market. Last year we did just over $100 million. We're fighting for every deal to get right back there. We'll probably be in that $95 million mark this year, and so my business is mostly derived from past clients activity, past client referral, and really real estate agent referral as well. So that's really where my referral market comes up, and and every single one of my clients gets a total cost analysis. Just wanted to throw it in there. But yeah, that's how my market is, and that's how we're set up here. I've got a team of 5 of us. So it's myself, my sales. Actually, my senior loan officer on my team, Pam Silver, who just supports 100% of my team in my business. We have a sales assistant, Nick, and I've got 2 dedicated processors, Heidi and Carissa. So that essentially makes up my whole entire team.
Got it. All right, so I just showed on the screen, you could see Rick's goal coming into the beginning of the year was to serve 400 families. And he made this, picture of a house. Later today, or let's just say within the next 2 days, he's going to post an updated picture of this in our Mastermind Facebook group. By the way, if you have not already subscribed to the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind Facebook group, make sure that you do a search and connect with us. I will give you permission. We only let loan officers and select coaches and industry leaders into it. So I try to keep the spam out of it and keep it focused on a place where loan officers who want to make more money in less time, be more productive, that's a place. And there will be a picture of an updated version of this. I know, Rick, when I did this interview with you earlier in the year, Kelly Zitlow loved this and implemented it. I know a lot of other Mortgage Coach members implemented something like this. So I would love to see samples of that. Please post examples of how what were your goals, and how did you track those throughout the year? If you have a picture of something visual, please post it in our Facebook group. We want to see what you're doing and how you're doing it to track your goals. So Rick and I put today's conversation together around this. Everybody, let's face it, January and February are usually not great years or great months. Sometimes they're scary how bad they are. A lot of loan officers go to sleep and kind of like take vacations and don't really invest on November and December. So Rick, tell us what you did last year and how that set you up this year, and just walk us through what are your big strategies and your big systems that you implemented, and what are all the things that you said no to, and let's just have a conversation around that.
Yeah, love it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to really ramp up your business, being really extremely clear on what you're going to do, but also more importantly, what you're not going to do. So again, I've got this whiteboard in my office, and the first thing that I did late last year was I got really clear on the 5 to 6 things that I was going to do in my business every single day, every single week throughout the year. And that just really allowed me to be extremely clear on just what fired me up. What do I want to do? What just really got me out of bed and just got me plugging forward. And in that exercise, more importantly, it wasn't just the 5 or 6 things that I was going to do in my business. It was the 14 or 15 things I was not going to do in my business. And so getting really clear on that piece of it is important. And then what I did was we did a couple exercises with people on my team where Pam essentially wrote down exactly what she does on a daily, weekly basis. Nick did the same thing, and my processors did that same thing. And we whiteboarded it all out. And then what we did was we started just shuffling and moving things around. We started moving things off of Pam's plate down to Nick's plate. We're allowing my stuff to flow to Pam and some of her stuff all around. So it's really taking this time to get really clear on what you are going to do in your business and what you're not. Out of this exercise came a bunch of different systems that we spent the next couple of months putting in place to really move my business from reactive to proactive. And I think, again, you talk with many loan officers. I lived my life as a reactive loan officer for 15 years, and I just woke up one day and said, well, I'm not going to allow that to happen anymore, so how are we going to make that transition? What are we going to do? And so we'll go over a couple of just tactics and systems that we put in place that has absolutely transformed my business. I'm a mortgage. I coach some loan officers here in the industry, and the first thing that we do is we build the foundation. Right? We scrap everything that we've been doing. We get clear on what we want to do, what we don't, and then put the technology and things in place that allows us to be in control of our business, work on our business, and not in our business. So if you don't mind, we'll just kind of get into one of the first couple of things that we've done.
Hey, Rick, real quick. So I've had a couple of questions come in. Not going to ask you to do this during the call, but would you mind taking a picture of that board later on and posting that in our Facebook group?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Colleen, there you have it. You're going to get a picture of the board, and then Rick is going to go through some of the things that we're not going to do, what are the things that he is going to do, and we're going to do that now. One thing I would ask everybody on this call to do, as you hear Rick unpack the, let's just say 5 things he's going to do and the 15 things he's not going to do, feel free to share what are the things you're going to stop doing and what are the things you're going to start doing as you listen to this. I would love to see what you write up here. And if you do have a question for Rick, bring it into the conversation. So start unpacking, Rick.
Yeah, Dave, one thing on that. I don't want people to tune out, to say, hey, I've only been in the business for a year and I don't have an assistant yet. Or, I've got to share an assistant. Or, what I think at the end of the day is just be clear about it, and if you can't execute this today because you just don't have the team assembled yet, well, it's really cool when you get to a point to assemble a team. You know exactly what they're going to do and what you're going to do and really make it. So, one of the things that I hear with some of my coaching clients is I get all my phone calls on my cell phone. It's what it's my phone for the last 5 years, 10 years. People know how to reach me there. Well, those days have gone where you have to worry about where people are going to reach you. You can go and buy a landline phone from Verizon or one of these different companies that you can own just like a cell phone number and point it wherever you want. The problem with being a reactive loan officer is people can get you all the time. No one can intercept. No one can be in front of between you and that cell phone call, and what that will do, that actually puts you and veers you right off course. So what I recommend is people having a phone line that's not their cell phone, but a number that they own, where they can point it wherever they can, so that you can start to feed people into this line, and you can start to have an assistant answer the phone, or a receptionist, or your processor, or something like that, and that's going to, really make it so that you're off of the front line. People are still getting you, but they're getting you how you want to be contacted. One of the biggest game changers that I made about a year and a half ago is I invested in I think it's $19 a month. It's called Schedule Once. Now there's a billion other ones around. I did a couple, like literally an hour research on it, went with Schedule Once, but certainly there's many different options out there. But what this is this is a scheduling software. Everybody is aware when you are emailing a client saying, can you talk at 3? Well, no, because I got a meeting at 3:30. Can you talk at 4? No, I got this at 4. Can you do this? Like, I have done away with all of that. Everything is done, and my calendar and my schedule is organized, all predicated on Schedule Once. It links up with my Outlook immediately. So someone schedule a time to speak with me. It schedules it right into my my schedule, and they're told to give me a call at the time that they're scheduled. So what and when they call in, and I'm in the middle of something, working on my business with a client, whatever, the person that always answers, or one of 3 people that always answer my phones, is they're going in and they're scheduling a time for that person to talk to me. You're moving yourself from this loan officer sells a commodity to a doctor-patient appointment, or you're escalating essentially the experience that they have of you around your organization and how that happens. So Schedule Once, it links to your Outlook, think Gmail, all of those things. You can set times when you're out, when you're so that you don't double, it doesn't ever double book you, because it talks to it, but it schedules. So when I come in, I'm on a different computer. I wish I could show you yesterday. Literally, I had call after call after call scheduled. And the way that I've got my system going down is I don't even know who's going to be on the phone 5 minutes beforehand. I click on it, do some quick research, and then get on the phone like I'm their best friend. So Schedule Once will absolutely start to move you from a reactive loan officer to a proactive loan officer. My sales manager here that I partner with, he is a slow adopter. It took him about a year to adopt it, and within a week of adopting it, he came in my office and yelled at me and said, "How did you not convince me to do this sooner?"
So real quick, everybody, if you are using some type of automated schedule, or the one I have heard the most in the Productivity Mastermind is Calendarly, which, by the way, that's what we use at Mortgage Coach. But again, there's a lot of them. So I would love to know what are you using? What are some of the scheduling tools that you use? And I'm not here to propose that you need to use one. I'm just interviewing the best loan officers, and more and more and more I'm hearing that they're being used. So, Rick, it sounds like that was a super valuable tool for you. Are you finding that some people won't click on it and you have to have kind of like a plan B? Or are you finding that literally, all of your borrowers are playing the game and self-scheduling through that product?
Everyone.
Through that platform?
Everyone, and 15-20% of them, when I got on the phone call, it's like, oh my God, that was so easy, like no telephone tag. In the way, it's all around positioning, right? So in my emails, everything has my online link. When a client goes in and fills out the application, my assistant is sending an email out as me saying, hey, John, thanks very much for filling out your online application. Schedule a time. Go in and schedule a time that works for you, right? And we'll connect. But at the end of the day, it's really what works for me, right? It's positioning. It's what works for you, but here's my calendar, schedule something that works. So, I also have Pam's calendar in there, and quite frankly, I'm now starting to move Pam's calendar up top, right? So that they're clicking on hers first, booking with her, and allowing me to work on my business, and she's handling some of those phone calls.
So by the way, everyone, did you notice the scripting? It's minor, it's subtle, but it's go ahead and schedule something that works for you. So, you know, while it's a productivity, it's something for Rick to be more productive, more efficient. It's about him, but he's positioning that to client. It's about you. Schedule something that works for you. So by the way, if anyone on this call has tried something like this and it's not working for you, like, what's your objection? What happened? Why didn't it work? Feel free to share that in questions, and we'll try to get to that. But by the way, everything's lighting up. Everybody's like, you know, Calendarly, simplybook.me, Schedule One. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And by the way, in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind Facebook group, we'll start a thread on that. There has been a thread on this topic before, but we'll start a thread and we'll see all the different solutions out there. So if you have questions or you've had challenges, let us know. Rick, keep it rolling.
Yeah, so, and again, the reason why I started with Schedule Once is that's just one tool allowing you to scale your business in a bunch of other directions, a bunch of other ways. So you know, so we talked about Schedule Once. I think it's a really great thing that we use as a tool to allow scalability. You know, the second thing that I work on with a lot of my coaching clients is, you know, all of our companies has a really good tool that starts at when you submit the loan into process, right? So you submit the loan into process, goes through a bunch of steps, comes out the other side. There's some CRM that captures that information. Where we lose a lot of the data is from the real estate agent going, hey, I just want to let you know, just gave your name to John Smith. He'll be reaching out to you. Well, what happened to John Smith 3 days later? Didn't hear from him. Well, a lot of times, and I'll tell you, me year ago, right, that was gone. Or send an email saying, hey, Rick, I want you to meet Joe Smith. He's a new client of mine. You know, reach out. Of course, we'd reach out in a matter of a couple of minutes. And we would never hear from that person again. And I thought, well, we tried it. We reached out to him. Maybe we would reach out to him one more time. But where'd that client go? What happened with that client? They filled out their application. You know, and so what we did was we invested, again, very small dollars into we call it the front-end CRM called Pipedrive. And the reason why we liked Pipedrive was because it's all visual. It's really easy to use. And what this allows me to do is allows me to track every single referral that comes into the door. What happens with it? Who referred it? How many deals has one agent referred, and how many have I converted? And you know what essentially that referral partner means to me as far as the dollar value goes. So Dave, I think I've got it set up here where I can kind of just poke around, and then if you want to screen share and give it to me, I can kind of give a quick tutorial over it and how we use it.
Yeah, let's do that. I am giving you the rights to share your desktop and walk us through your workflow and how you're using, you know, like I said, one specific CRM to make you more efficient to close the year strong and kick off next year with success. Show it to us.
Yeah, so can you see my picture on here? On my screen?
We see everything. Yeah, we see Pipedrive and we still see you, yes.
Okay, all right, so let me just kind of get myself out of the way there. So anyway, this is Pipedrive, this is active, this is right now, and you know, essentially what we've done is this is a la carte. You can do it however you'd like it to do, but on the top of it, I can set up my process. So just like I said, heads up, you know, there's a real estate agent texts me, sends me, you know, leaves me a message, says, hey, I'm going to refer this person out. These people go right in heads up. Lead comes in. Again, it's someone that just was introduced via phone or email. Initial consultation has booked, so it means they've gone in, they've booked a time to speak with me through Schedule Once. We have a two-step process or a one-step process. Typically, clients will do an initial call, then we'll send them to the application, and then we'll do a second call. So initial consultation, sends them to the application, they've completed it, we schedule a follow-up. Deal is pre-approval is pending. In other words, there's a couple more things that we need from that client before we do a pre-approval. Pre-approval, that people are sitting in the pre-approval lane. Keep in mind, we're not good at putting the dollar amount that they're pre-approved for, so the number up top is pretty skewed. And then these are a couple clients here that we've got under agreement that are sitting there, haven't been put in process yet because of home inspection and things like that. You know, and then down here, Nick has his own, my sales assistant has his own, where, you know, we do certain things that Nick will do through the process, and, you know, he will use this to really manage his job going through it. So, again, just another thing to track. Like, I can track all my referral partners. You know, how many clients, so we talked about, you know, repeat clients. 50 of them this year. One of my real estate agents, you know, gives you an idea of what, you know, how many we get in. And so, you know, this guy right here, Justin, he refers to 24 people. We've converted 5. He's an online lead guy, you know, so again, some of his won't stick. But, you know, you can we can literally track where people are coming from and you know, how we're converting them. So anyway, just another system that you can implement to really figure out what's happening at the time of the sale. How are you converting them? Nick will do something every couple of days where he'll reach out to the real estate agent if we don't hear back from him after 3 times. You know, is this client, did they, you know, trip over a loan officer? Really, you know, really gives us really clear on our numbers.
So everyone, let's just break down some of the systems. We're using technology to make scheduling appointments more easier. Let's face it, the more meetings you have with borrowers, the more meetings you have with realtors, the more successful you are. He's using his CRM. He's using his CRM effectively. Again, taking nothing away from Pipedrive. You can do this with almost all CRMs. May not be as visual as Pipedrive, and great job, Rick. But he's using his CRM so that he knows the status of where his clients are at, where his partners are at, and he's doing it in a way that his team is using it. So if you want to crush it, if you want to close the year strong, you need to have a lot of meetings, and you need to have a lot of transparency on your success, and you need to keep score. So that's awesome. So 2 systems that were implemented and effectively implemented. You and your team are using it. Anything else on Pipedrive, or what's next?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, again, we're simple. So, you know, you can literally just take this and move it over here and move things around. And I mean, you know, again, it's just, you know, if Tom Burns didn't get his deal, we can put him in another pipeline. So anyway, you know, I don't have stock in Pipedrive. It's just something that we use, and I figure we would we'd bring it up and really show you the how we're controlling and really making sure that we lose a lot less deals this year just because we're not tracking it at all. So that's Pipedrive. That's a system that I absolutely love. Let's talk, if you don't mind, about annual reviews.
I love talking about annual reviews. Tell us what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Yeah. So let me get out of here. There we go. So,
by the way,
yeah.
Rick, I didn't know you were still sharing the screen. I took it a minute ago, but I've just given it back to you. So
I
click the button.
Nope, I got nothing more around it, so you can take it back.
Oh, okay, got it. So tell us what you're doing with annual reviews.
Yeah, this was the biggest game changer in my business this year, and for a couple of different things. So again, you know, there's a lot here. We've heard a lot of different people on how they do it. They have someone call every client. They call themselves every client. They send emails out, that type of thing. And so what we've done is we've A/B tested this all the way to really where it works for us. And we're getting about 35% of our clients every month reaching out to us to book an annual review call. So I'll just I'll go through the process that we use. First of all, we don't send out bulk emails. No one's BCC'd on everything. We're not using a bomb or anything that will get clogged up in these email systems because, quite frankly, you know, these spam filters are just so smart now. So what we've done is, through Outlook, you are able to do a mail merge from Excel into Outlook, and where Nick will set it up, and it literally, if I'm going to email 100 clients their annual review, it just goes boom, 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 and sets them out all individually, so that everybody thinks that we're customizing the email itself with their name in a couple different spots throughout the email. And we're really just customizing it to them, and it's not hitting any junk because, again, we're sending it out individually. So the first thing is mail merge through Outlook. I'm not sure if it works at Gmail or any of these other ones, but certainly through Outlook it does. So the email goes out. I've got one right here. With the anniversary of your mortgage occurring this month, it's time for your annual review. Just like a checkup you make, just like a checkup, oh, it cuts off. Maybe at the doctor's. We want to make sure that you're in the right program with your mortgage. It's important that with today's financial and political climate that we make sure you're in the right mortgage program. And even if you are, I'm telling you, it's worth the 10 minutes to get on the phone. Book a time to speak with me based on your schedule. Click here. Look forward to speaking with you again. And so we'll shoot that out. And we'll probably get 10 or 15% of people that will click on and book a time and a review call. So that's the first pass. And then typically we'll send that out on Wednesday in the morning. Friday afternoon, we send out a Sly broadcast. So you can go to slybroadcast.com. It's extremely inexpensive. You upload all of the clients' cell phone numbers into, or I would even put home numbers. I think it goes to everything, quite frankly. And if it's an automated or if it's a voicemail that, it's on an answering machine, right, it goes into some electronical holding place, you can send a generic voicemail saying, hey, it's Rick Scherer, just sent you an email a couple of days ago. Want to make sure you click on it in a review time. I'll tell you, with everything going on in the marketplace, it's really important that we spend 10 to 15 minutes on the phone, and I'll promise you it's going to be the most, it's the best 15 minutes you'll spend just making sure you're in the right place. But I've also got some other things for you. So that goes out on Friday, giving them the weekend to go into their inboxes, click a time to meet with us. Usually by Tuesday or Wednesday. Whoever hasn't done it at that point, they get one more email from me. And then we've, over the last 6 months, we're averaging between 25 and 40, really about 35% of the people that we're sending this automated to are reaching out to us. But if you think about it, Dave, I have done 0 at this point. Like, I have a sales assistant who knows on the 15th of every month, you're going to start the process. Here's what you're going to do. We've got certain agreements with each other that these are all going to happen. And all I'm doing is I'm showing up to my desk, predetermined times that I've set up for random review calls, and I'm talking to them as they're calling me to do this.
That is awesome. So if anyone else is doing this, let us know. But again, with very little effort, and while Rick does have a team and he has people that are helping him do this, if you're a solo loan officer, let's face it, all you need to do is close 7 to 8 loans a month, and you can have a team. And if you are closing less than 5 loans a month, you have the bandwidth to prospect. You have the bandwidth to get emails out to past customers and folks like this. So great strategy. I love how you're getting them on the phone. Oh, go ahead, Rick. You want to say?
Yeah, I want to touch upon 2 different things. First of all, scripting on when you're talking with the clients, and what got in my head, and as I was talking to some of my coaching clients, what their thing was I've already gone through my pipeline. I know everybody that's at 5% is now down at 4%. I've gone through, and everybody's refied. And the magic around the annual review calls is all of the context that you're uncovering with these clients. It's magic. And so how I do this, I set the tone the second we get on the phone with the client, and the script just goes something like this: Hey, Mr. Johnson, how are you? Hey, listen, the intent of this phone call is a couple of different things. We're probably going to be on the phone for about 15 minutes, and here's what I want to get. Here's what I want to happen on this call. First of all, I want to check in with you, see how the kids are doing. We're going to talk about the house a little bit, talk about things that are coming up in the future with you. And then I've got a couple of questions at the end of this that I have for you. Does that work for you, Mr. Johnson? Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Great. How are you? How are the kids? Oh, well, Suzanne is having our third baby, and, and you can start to, you just dive in, and then you come at these conversations not with what am I going to do or how much business am I going to get out of this phone call. Like, if you can come at these conversations with, like, nothing but give, like, let's just get in their world for 15 minutes and see how they're doing. And, getting into the family, how is the house? Is it what you dreamed of? Are you fitting in it nicely? Any big expenses that are coming up throughout the house? Because, again, usually people want to do something. They want to put the kitchen on or the addition on or that. Or you also uncover the fact that, yeah, they're just growing out of this house. And without this conversation, you wouldn't have known that. So it's spending the time figuring out what is going on in their worlds, asking a lot of great questions, any big expenses coming up, anything. Well, great. Well, yeah, home equity lines, yeah, if the addition's going to be $100,000, certainly home equity line's a good spot to do that. But you're at 4.25%. Not, you're really not. It wouldn't make sense to go to 4%, just to save a quarter today. But geez, if your other alternative is to go and get a home equity line of credit, we know Fed's going up in December and maybe 3 or 4 next year. It's probably not the best place to put your money. Hey, now let's do a cash out refinance, get you down to maybe 4%. And pull the money out now. A little bit of savings on the interest rate, but geez, we're locking that money in. It gives you all of those different conversations to have with people, or they're 100% fine. There's nothing you can do. And that's where I love the conversation to go. Because it's, hey, Mr. Johnson, you're in a great spot right now. I love it. Yeah, you're at 3.5%, 30-year fix. You're not going anywhere, and they're going to bury in the backyard. You're in awesome shape. So, hey, what I do is I always want to check in with my client. I want to make sure I'm going to ask you to rate your top 4 advisors in your life. Okay, Mr. Johnson, how is your financial planner? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Oh, he's a 2, or he's a 6, or I don't have one, or he's a 10. Right? Dave, you and I have talked about this offline. We've had about the power of this referral, but I'll tell you. I don't even care if I do the refi, because I will always get off the phone with at least one referral to my financial planner, CPA, estate planner, or insurance. One of the 4, I will get off the phone with a referral to one of those people. And and you just, again, you continue to uncover all of this great context. And what I do is I just listen to what they say. Great, he's a 5. Okay, cool. How's your CPA? I don't have one. TurboTax. Is that still working for you? Well, yeah, no, and now I'm doing a little side hustle here, and I get 1099, and okay, great. And boom, how's your estate planner? We don't have one. Well, you just told me you got 3 kids and an asset. Wow, yeah, me and my wife just did this exercise, and I'll tell you, it's the best thing we've ever done. How's your insurance? Property, casualty, life insurance? Tell me a little bit about that. And then I let them talk, and then I go back in for the close on these referrals. So, I mean, I've now moved. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I love what you're doing, and I love how you added on. It's not just about getting a loan, whether it's a refi, a purchase, a move up, a referral to someone else, looking to buy or refinance a home. But your goal is to get a referral to a member of the wealth team. So I think that is huge. By the way, folks, if you have questions for Rick, let us know what they are. And then Rick, what percentage of your clients, when it does come to presenting mortgage options, whether it's in the annual review or the purchase, what percent are you giving the total cost analysis to? Is it?
Yeah, 100%. So, and again, back to my 6 things I'm going to do and 15 I'm not. They're not all by me. It's not all on me. Really, Nick and Pam all set up the total cost analysis. And so what we'll do is when we have a client to present it, we have a little sheet that we'll just write down, the 4 different options. Nick will go in, and I think Nick's down to about 3.5 minutes on a total cost analysis. And he'll shoot it back to us. We put it in there, and we go. So it's not that. And so I'm just in a point in my business where I'm not going in there and being technical with it. but every single one of our clients get a total cost analysis. And I'll tell you where the total cost analysis is extremely effective is in these annual review calls, because, yeah, man, you're just able to dig up put together so much great information to show them why doing a cash out refi as opposed to an equity line is so great. So to answer your question, well, yeah, 100%.
So did everybody hear that? And by the way, Rick's not the only one doing this. I actually had an informal conversation with Danny Harani with the Gaylord Hansa team, one of the most successful teams in the country. I'm actually going to do a Skype interview with him this afternoon, because he was telling me how they're doing annual reviews and just killing it. Just, getting all kinds of referrals for realtors. And folks, coming into the end of the year, you can be doing these review conversations with your clients. Rick just gave you a great playbook. Send out emails, drive them to a link to schedule appointments, get on the phone with them. If you're not closing enough business to have an assistant to do a total cost analysis, it's less than 5 minutes. And by the way, Rick, you didn't always have the type of team that you've had. And back in the day, you used to do total cost analysis. How long has it been that you've delegated that to your team versus do it yourself, just so we kind of know when you transition that to your team?
January 1st, 2017. We were all sort of doing it, right? But when you start to figure out where your highest and best use is, and of course it's structure, right? It's strategy. So I'm not giving up the strategy call itself, or the how we're going to put it together. But the actually putting things together, and God, when you can get your business to where you don't even go into your email, or you go into your email and you're just looking at highlighted things, like, that is the biggest game changer. So, I don't send the majority of my emails out to my clients. That's pushed out by my team. And so, if I can get it to Nick to put everything together, and I know we're going to say he's pushing that out as me. Well, I'm out at lunch with a real estate agent. I'm helping the financial planner build his business. I'm doing all of those things, and it's absolutely game changing.
Right on. So I hope you also heard that last year, 2016, a year where Rick had did $100 million, he was doing his own total cost analysis. So for anyone that's on this call and you're not either through yourself or through your team delivering a total cost analysis, you're losing a lot of loans. You're losing a lot of opportunity by not delivering. It's not just purchase options. It's showing how families how to build wealth with real estate using their mortgage as a tool. If you're not doing that, you are just completely shortcutting your success. I think when I did that poll, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add. It's so funny. Total cost analysis proves me wrong all the time, where I'm like, yeah, I just think the LPMI deal at 90% is probably going to be better than this other thing, and blah blah blah. And then when you put the math behind it and the total cost analysis, like, oh, shit, I'm wrong. And that's great. It's great that we have this mechanism to clearly show and to help us loan officers further understand, well, geez, yeah, that probably is not the right situation because of X, Y, and Z. So, I love when you put it all together and it's black and white, and the clients just love it. I just when we showed that when you had the thing about how often people are doing the total cost analysis, we had some nevers and probably some guests and things like that. But monthly, it blows my mind, because if you do it often enough, you hear the feedback of like, oh my God, that was the best thing that I've ever seen. Like, I have financial planners calling me going, how do I get the software? I have to show, and they don't have access to it. So if you're not doing them for every client, it's why, because it's not time. Like I said, if you do them often enough, it's 3.5 minutes. I don't know why else someone wouldn't do it.
Yeah, well, usually it's learning to do something new. So I just showed my screen, everybody. I wanna shine a light on the fact that I'm in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group, and I have posted questions. Do you have a system that helps you schedule meetings without going back and forth via email? If you do, which one are you using? So far, we've got a couple people that have raised their hand and say they're using Calendly. I want to know, what are you using? So even if you already answered and questions, and Rick, if you could later on put which one you're using, because I would like to see in the Mortgage Coach community, what are the tools that are being used to schedule meetings, and anything that gets a family on the phone with a loan officer so that the loan officer can have a total cost analysis conversation. I want to make that happen more. So please share what tools you're using to get more phone calls, get more meetings. Hey, Rick, before we go off that topic, are you using Calendly to schedule meetings with realtors? Is it something you're using in that way?
No. No. So I'm using my Outlook calendar for that, and I also have someone that does development. So, but what happens is when that appointment goes in there, then it blocks everything else off, right? So I'm not having realtors come on and schedule. Although, if they've got a deal that they want to talk with me about, they can just go right to the calendar now, and that's where we're going to communicate. If they want to do more than just the email, and again, it's just to look at my phone in the morning and go, yeah, I have these 6 calls back to back to back. I'm just going to hammer them out. No back and forth, no nothing. It's just, I don't know. For me, like I said, it was a game changer.
Good. All right. So we've gone through a lot, at least 4 systems you've implemented. I want to make sure we cover some of the things that you're not doing. So if you could just rapid fire things that you're not doing, and then are there any other systems we want to make sure we cover in today's call?
Yeah, one of the things that we moved to essentially January 1st with the team is I'm not involved with anything to do with paperwork. I'm not involved with anything to do with essentially once it gets into process. So we have a huddle call every single morning. On Mondays it's 9:30. Tuesdays we have our pipeline call, so we don't have one there. But Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 o'clock, and I go in and I've set the attention, I set the tone that there's a 10-minute phone call, and guaranteed rate we have a front-end processor and a back-end processor, and all we talk about is anything going from green to yellow. And so when things are going yellow, we call them hot topics. All right, Heidi, what are your hot topics for today? Yep, this client's really dragging their feet, and then we figure out in that call what we're going to do to make sure it doesn't go to red, right? So how are we going to do that? So huddle calls with my team every single day. There's non-negotiable. They're there, they're planned. Everybody knows about it. Everybody looks forward to it. So that way we're not blowing up the day, and we can literally start to address things way before they become issues. So that's one thing that has allowed me to really be engaged with the process for 15 minutes in the morning, and then all I'm doing is business development, getting clients in, strategy calls, and that type of thing. So really that, and also communication during the process. Now, a lot of communication goes out as me through the process. I'm visual to the client, i.e. through emails and some slide broadcasts and things like that. However, I'm really nowhere to be found during this process unless it's getting to red. So that has also freed up a ton of time, allowing me to really work on my business and not in it. So my team essentially handles all that piece of it.
Okay. So you've gotten yourself out of paperwork, you've gotten yourself out of follow-up, and again, for you folks that don't have a team, you just need to time block that. You need to be very intentional about that. And you also need to do an incredible job on the front end so that you take a great app, you've delivered the total cost analysis, they're clear and confident, you've taken a great app so it goes through the system. What else aren't you doing? What else have you stopped doing?
Actually, one thing that you just said there is really setting the table for the whole process. So if you don't mind, we spend like 2 minutes on how my essentially. Yeah, so well, I think it adds a lot of value. It's kind of my goodbye. I know it's sort of bad to say, but my goodbye to the client as they get into the process. It's really setting the table for how it's going to work from here on out, setting expectations, and also getting buy-in. So if you don't mind spending just a minute or two on that. As we submit a file from, get the client locked in, and that really the move into processing, the next conversation they're going to receive is from the processor. I have a checklist that I go through, so I make sure I hit everything. And so, we talk about, I lay it out on the line right then and there that, Mr. Johnson, you will have a 5-star customer service experience during this process. Are you okay with that? And, I get a, yeah, of course, that'd be great. Love it. And, of course, there's risks in that, right, by really setting the bar that high. But I have the confidence in my team, and everybody knows it, that we set the bar up front, honestly, right then and there. You're going to receive a 5-star customer service experience. Then what I say is well, what I mean by that is we're going to do a couple of things to provide that to you. And one is going to be we're going to over-communicate with you. Are you okay with that, Mr. Johnson? Oh, yeah, geez, I'm so stressed out. Yes, please over-communicate. Great, that's what we're going to do. So we use a program called Flowify. Flowify is a documentation collection software system, collects your W-2s and pay stubs and things like that. However, we don't use that at Guaranteed Rate because we already have our own thing. But what I do use that for is we've created 14 benchmark notifications throughout the process that the client, the real estate agent, and the attorney get throughout the process, all 14 of them. So your rate's locked, boom, they get an email, your rate's locked. And it's a whole list of what's coming and what they've already checked off. So rate lock, appraisals in, your mortgage is approved, we've got your mortgage commitment, you're clear to close. All of these things get triggered. So Mr. Johnson, you're going to get Flowify emails from us. You're also going to get customized emails and phone calls from the 2 people on my team you're going to work through this process, my front-end processor, my back-end processor. Mr. Johnson, if you feel you're not getting 5-star customer service this whole time, please ping me because, if someone's out sick or you're not getting what you need, I need to, make sure we right the ship. But please understand that's our whole thing throughout this process is you're going to receive that. Now, Mr. Johnson, 5-star customer service experience doesn't allow you to fall asleep for the next 45 days and wake up at a closing table. Ha, ha, ha. No, but seriously, Mr. Johnson, so the only way that we're going to be in front of all of our dates is if you can provide your documentation within 24, if not 48 hours from the time that we ask for it. Is that something I can count on you for? Can you commit to me that that will happen? And besides one client that was going away for 2 weeks, to Hawaii, of course, everybody has said yes, and I check a box out. So that as my team is going through this process, and we're falling outside that 24-48, now that we're getting into 72, then they have something to talk about around how they've, that client is committed to sending us their stuff quickly. And what I'll tell you is when we put this in probably March or April, my whole team was like what you've said and what the expectations you've set up front with this client to get me their stuff, our conversations have changed. I'm not waiting for docs to be signed a week later. We've already talked about that up front. So setting the expectations that, one, the client's going to get this experience, but also that they need to be committed to the process as well. That, for me, has been a really game changer in our business and allowed us to be really proactive as opposed to having the processor spend a lot of time really reacting to that.
Love it. So, folks, I've had a lot of folks share what they're going to stop doing, what they're going to start doing. Most, the big theme I'm hearing is I'm going to prospect more. I'm going to, be more proactive with loans in process, and I'm going to start prospecting more. Time blocking to call realtors, time blocking to call past clients and do annual reviews. So great job, everybody. It feels like, you're getting the memo, and you're going to follow up on that. A few reminders. I want to remind everybody that, I posted this article in LinkedIn today. I am just super clear that the most successful loan officers are talking to more families, whether it's an annual review, and more realtors to build referral relationships than everybody else. The person that has the most conversations wins, and the person that has the most effective conversations wins the most. So right now, all of the training that we're doing, all the calls that we're going to do throughout the month of November, are going to be designed to help you get into more conversations with realtors, get into more conversations with annual reviews, and when you have a conversation, have it be an incredibly effective conversation. I mean, that's why if you're looking at my screen right now, when I did this article, I pulled out the scripts. You know, what are the scripts in this particular case that the Gaylord Hansen team is having with realtors to get more referrals? I'm going to pull the scripts out of today's call. You know, what are the scripts that Rick Scherer is having to have an effective annual review conversation? And then how are you getting into the mortgage coach conversation? How are you having that total cost conversation in a way that either converts that lead into a loan, turns that past customer into a client for life? What scripts are you having based off those different clients? So we're dedicated to helping you be more effective. We are looking for best practices, so please participate. I did post this in our Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind. Please share what tools you're using, what scripts you're using. Already, we've got a few folks. It looks like so far Calendly is winning. Simplebook.me. Say that again, Rick.
I got to check it out. Maybe I'm using the wrong calendar. So.
No. Let's again just post what you're using. I think it might be nice to what feature do you like about it? So you folks that are using Calendly, you know, did you look at Schedule 1, and if so, what did you like about it? Feel free to, you know, participate in that dialogue in this conversation. So we've got 3 minutes left. I've got a lot of folks saying what a great call. One person asked, could we get a copy of the email that you're sending out to drive that annual review call? Is that something you're willing to share, Rick?
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm just picking up because I totally came unprepared with the list of the things that I was going to do and not. So I found it on my phone because I took a picture of the wall before I erased it. You want me to quickly go run it down? All right, business development, biz dev, but also strengthening with my current real estate partners, CPAs, financial planners, builders, developers, high-level communication with borrowers, agents, and attorneys. Initial consult with the client, so the strategy call with the clients. High-level problem solving. So again, not when it's going from green to yellow, but when it's at red, that's where I'm jumping in. And then anniversary calls monthly. And then anything that wasn't high producing. So I broke my income down per hour, but I also broke Pam's income down per hour. And so that's how her and I looked at, okay, well, you're going to handle this stuff, and then this stuff you're handling down here is going to go to Nick, Krista, and Heidi. And so it just allows you, when you go with the mindset of what you're making per hour to what the tasks that you're doing, it allows you to shuffle things around pretty quick.
Love it, Rick. So I'm going to post a link to the recording of today's call later today in this group. If you have some unanswered questions, put those in comments below. And Rick has promised, a picture of his goals board. So we're going to see what that looks like as we're getting into the last couple months of the year. He's going to post a picture of, you know, what's he focusing on, what he's not focusing on, and then a few of these scripts. And if you do have a question for Rick, you know, we are out of time, but we can keep this conversation going in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group.
And friend me on Facebook, Rick, and any questions you have, I'm here to help.
By the way, is that the best way for folks to connect with you, Rick, is just connect with you on Facebook?
Perfect. Love it.
All right. So let us know what you thought of today's call. Did you get value? Were you wowed? It surpassed your expectations? Solid takeaways? If you are a guest on this call and you would like to learn more about Mortgage Coach, click the last option, and we will be happy to schedule a demo for you and provide you with an overview. Also, for anyone that, you know, let's say you did click that last option, I do want to shine a light on the fact that, you know, how to maximize realtor referrals with Mortgage Coach. I did write a blog post. Really design this blog post is something that would help someone who wants to know more about Mortgage Coach how to get started. So literally, if you just want to sign up now, there's a button. If you want a live demo, there's a button. And if you want to watch a recording of a demo, there's a button. So, you know, check that out if you're a guest on today's call. Also, for everybody who's on the Mortgage Coach team, as we get into the end of the year, If you know a loan officer that you care about that should be on the Mortgage Coach team, please forward this post to them and encourage them to check it out. Hey, Rick, super appreciate your time today, brother. You got great ratings. Everybody loved your call. They loved this conversation. And remember, folks, you can keep the conversation going in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group. Take care, my brother.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.